Howdy! How do you do? And welcome to today's episode. Today happens to be January 23rd, 2023, and you know what that means. It means that we just got done with that daggone divisional round of the NFL playoffs. And that means yet another year where them Dallas Cowboys got sent home. Hallelujah! But don't worry, I'm here to help you put all that misery and pile on top of it. I'm in a great mood today. I cannot begin to tell y'all the kind of mood that I am today. Now, yeah, this has the old Saints logo because this is not your typical cowboy hat. But then again, these weren't your typical Cowboys from last week. No, they were not. No, sirree. Let's just start right there. The Dallas Cowboys lose to the San Francisco 49ers 19-12. And let me tell y'all something. Actually, you know what? I'm having a bad day. Hold on. I'm having a bad hair day. Let's just do the whole show with the cowboy hat on. The Dallas Cowboys had an even worse performance than they had last year against the San Francisco 49ers. You couldn't score 17 points again. 20 was all you needed to win the game because the San Francisco 49ers only scored 19 points. And listen, I have a big surprise for y'all on Thursday. You see, I made a bet with somebody. I made a bet with my boy Billy. Y'all remember from last episode on Thursday, I lived up to my end of it. I got the Cowboys shirt. I talked about the Cowboys. I picked them to win the game. Now, it did hurt a lot that Tony Pollard went down. We hope for a speedy recovery for him. It looked like a horrible tackle the way that Tony Pollard went down. CeeDee Lamb had a great game. CeeDee Lamb was running all over the field. He was getting stuff done, moving the chains and all that. I just can't stop laughing today. It's just a fantastic day. But that $95 million man that is Dakota Prescott did not get the job done now, did he? Oh, Dak. How do you go from having a lights out performance against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where you look like an elite quarterback, and you go on this week, you throw two interceptions? Two interceptions. Listen, in all seriousness, and let's get serious here for a second. The Dallas Cowboys defense came to play. There's no two ways around it. The Dallas Cowboys defense looked like a championship defense. Micah Parsons was all over these boys. I mean, did y'all see the way that he just hip tossed that 300-pound lineman on the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, golly, that was completely nasty. Trayvon Diggs was actually holding his own back there. DeMarcus Lawrence and Leighton Vander Esch, those boys were running roughshod all over San Francisco's O-line. They were stopping the run. Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, it just looked like they were getting whopped at the line of scrimmage. They just could not get going. But in the end, when your defense has to be on the field for such a long amount of time, they're going to get worn out. Let's be honest here. The Dallas Cowboys had 6 days of rest, 5 days of rest when you really think about it, because they played on Monday night and then they played again on last night, right? You coincide that with the fact that you're going up against a team that has an embarrassment of weapons, right? The San Francisco 49ers, you have Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, and Elijah Mitchell was running the ball effectively. And then you had Brandon Ayuk, and you have George Kittle. My goodness, George Kittle is a character in his own right. There's no two ways around it. George Kittle was incredible yesterday, especially during the second half. He made that sensational catch. He catches it, then it bounces off his face, and he goes up and grabs it again, comes down with it, evades the tackle. I mean, my goodness, George Kittle owned the second half. And really, that was the play that the San Francisco 49ers needed to, inject some energy and take over the game. Brock Purdy played a very good game. That third-string, first-year quarterback that is Brock Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant. That's what they call him. He's definitely relevant now because the kid in his first-year, third-string rookie quarterback is in the NFC Championship game going up against the Philadelphia Eagles, but we'll get into the Eagles a little bit later. Let's soak in on some more of the Cowboys loss. Dallas Cowboys fans, how do you do? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? I need to know. The Dallas Cowboys fans were awfully silent today. Y'all notice that? We don't hear anymore, oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year, right? We don't hear that. And guess what? Cowboys fans, Dallas Cowboys fans, I blame this on you. I blame the Dallas Cowboys losing yesterday on those nauseating, disgusting fans. And here's why, right? It can't be, let's crawl before we walk. It can't be let's walk before we run. No, we got to go from coming out of the womb straight to sprinting into the Super Bowl. You guys had just won your first playoff game. I believe it was in like 6 or 7 years or something like that. The Cowboys had been irrelevant when it came to the playoffs. And they just had a victory. Actually, no, because didn't they beat the Rams a few years ago? I don't recall off the top of my head. But anyway, you need to understand, right, as Dallas Cowboys fans, that you need to win a playoff game first. You win a playoff game. You did it this year. Now next year, let's go for another one. In 2 years, let's go for 2. Then in 3 years or in 4 years, if y'all are still consistent, then we can talk Super Bowl, right? Y'all have gone 12-5 over the last 2 years. This game last night was solely on the hands of your starting quarterback, Dak Prescott. Again, 2 interceptions. We went back to the Dakota Prescott that played against the Commanders. I told y'all specifically that Dak Prescott better not show up. Okay? Had Tony Pollard still been in the game, maybe we have a different story because Tony Pollard was doing his thing as he always does. He is the savior of this Cowboys team. But in the end, what it comes down to is this. Dakota's gonna Dakota, and the Cowboys get to scampy on home. And I'm happy about it because the misery to Dallas Cowboys fans, just as much as the Chicago Bears fans, brings me great joy. It brings me great happiness to know that today we have Dallas Cowboys former players, former coaches. Jerry Jones was sick to his stomach, and for good reason, because you paid this quarterback like he's a franchise quarterback. Now, I'm not saying that Dak Prescott can't play. I'm not saying that he's not going to get his numbers. But Dak Prescott should be mentioned in the same breath as Kirk Cousins, a guy who's going to get his numbers, but when it comes down to it, he's not going to get you anywhere. He's not going to get you anywhere, right? And so with that being said, we have Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers going on to face the Philadelphia Eagles next week. And that's a good segue. Let's transition to that same Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a great run by the Giants. You went 10-7. You got into the playoffs. You won a matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. But with that being said, we saw how terrible the Minnesota Vikings defense truly was. We saw it, how terrible the Minnesota Vikings defense stunk. And then the Giants went up against a good defense in the Philadelphia Eagles, and you see what happens. They got absolutely stomped 38-7, and I didn't even get to halftime before I said, all right, let's order some food. Let's pack it up. This game's over. Nothing to watch here. They're going to be much better next year, the Giants, because they've gotten a taste of it. And I feel like with next year, if they're able to get some more help, if that defense is able to get better, Daniel Jones, pay him. Pay Daniel Jones. Pay Saquon Barkley. Because at this moment, I don't know what other quarterback you can get to come to the New York Giants, that's going to give you a better shot to win than Daniel Jones is. Right? I really don't know. I mean, are you gonna pay Lamar Jackson an exorbitant amount of dollars to come into your organization? I don't know if you want to do that. I truly don't know. But what I will say is Philadelphia, I'm so glad that Jalen Hurts played the way that he did because he showed I'm ready to go. There's no excuses here. No excuses. First few plays of the game, I'm going to run through you, and we're going to get this thing done, and it's Rap City. It looked like Jalen Hurts looked like he did a few weeks ago. Y'all remember that game? I forget who it was against. Maybe it was against the Giants, where Jalen Hurts had already thrown for like 3 touchdowns, and he's not even excited anymore. He's not even celebrating the touchdowns anymore. That's what Jalen Hurts looked like last night, too. It's like, all right, business as usual. I'm supposed to throw a touchdown here because I'm that good of a quarterback. Let's get this game wrapped up with. I'm not even having fun anymore beating up on these guys. Why am I out here? Right? That's what Jalen Hurts reminded me of last night. And let's see what happens with Philly. Because going up against the NFC East, they had a cakewalk. You had a cakewalk against the Giants. You beat them like 7 times straight. The Commanders were nothing to write home about. We see what happened with the Cowboys. They were absolutely nothing to brag home about. And let's see what happens, right? Because you're going up against an elite defense in the San Francisco 49ers next weekend, who's hungry, who clearly just beat one of the better offenses in the league, who just, realized that, hey, our quarterback, he's not pedestrian like Jimmy Garoppolo was. I'm here to tell y'all something real quick, as an aside. If Jimmy Garoppolo had been playing yesterday for the San Francisco 49ers, I think that the Dallas Cowboys actually beat him. That's the only consolation, is if Jimmy Garoppolo is behind center instead of Brock Purdy, I don't believe that the San Francisco 49ers win that game because that Dallas defense was all over them. But that's just as an aside. Philly's going to win the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles are winning the Super Bowl. Flat out. I'm calling it now. Before the 49ers game even takes place, I got the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. It's a wrap. Next, we get to the AFC, and we have the Buffalo Bills, who just stunk up the joint against the Cincinnati Bengals. I was completely dumbfounded watching that Cincinnati Buffalo game. I was just shell-shocked at how out of sync Josh Allen looked, at how Stephon Diggs could not get the ball enough, at how Gabe Davis, who had been a playoff performer, just could not keep. He had 2 catches dropped. 2 catches by Gabe Davis that were dropped. I was completely in shock. And that defense for the Buffalo Bills absolutely missed Von Miller. They absolutely missed Von Miller. That defense was just not the same. Now, I understand the point that the Buffalo Bills defense is banged up. Von Miller goes down. You have no secondary. And Joe Burrow was just picking these boys apart. I mean, at one point, I think Joe Burrow was 9 for 9 for 163 yards. That's how good this Cincinnati Bengals offense is. And their offensive line, by far improved from last year. Complete 180 transformation. They put an offensive line around Joe Burrow. He has at least 5 targets to throw the ball to. You have Jamar Chase. You have Joe Mixon, who can catch balls. Out of the backfield, and he's an effective runner. You have T. Higgins. You have Tyler Boyd. And then you have this guy, Hayden Hurst, at the tight end position as well, who caught a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday. Joe Burrow he's another guy. Embarrassment of riches. Complete. And I'm going to pick it again. Cincinnati's going back to the Super Bowl. Back-to-back trips to the Super Bowl for Cincinnati. Because I think that they beat Kansas City next weekend. I don't think that Patrick Mahomes at 85% is going to be enough to put Cincinnati down. I truly don't. But we'll get to that in just a second. I have a question to ask. Is Josh Allen still a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? I need to know, because you have Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. You've got to throw into that conversation potentially Lamar Jackson. We'll see what Deshaun Watson becomes next year with a few games under his belt. We clearly see, that Aaron Rodgers might not be going anywhere. Is Josh Allen still a top 5 quarterback? I would pick Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and I would honestly say Lamar Jackson right now ahead of Josh Allen. That's just me. That's personally just me, right? Because you cannot have the type of performances that Josh Allen has had and not bring that into question. The guy absolutely looked lost. Again, Allen is not a scrub, right? But I think that at some point in time, it's either the quarterback or it's the team. And you have Stephon Diggs and you have Gabe Davis, but you don't have a running game to speak of. That's why Josh Allen has to run so much, right? That's why he takes these big hits at 6'6", 240, right? I feel, and I heard this on First Take this morning, First Take on ESPN. Why not get Josh Allen a reliable tight end? Look at Jalen Hurts. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at Brock Purdy. The other teams that are left in these conference championships all have a reliable tight end. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. You have Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert, even though you also have 2 elite wide receivers in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. But you have Dallas Goedert. You have, with Brock Purdy, arguably the best tight end in football right now. 1A and 1B, George Kittle, Travis Kelce. Get Josh Allen somebody like that. Why not a Hunter Renfrow from the Raiders? You know what? Why not try to see, even though I don't think that this could happen, but why not a Mike Gesicki? Somebody like that. Josh Allen needs help. The same way that Lamar Jackson needs help, the same way that Aaron Rodgers needs help, the same way that Tom Brady needed some help, because we saw that clearly Julio Jones, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin were not getting the job done. Josh Allen needs that help too. And that defense needs to stay healthy. We'll see what the Buffalo Bills are next year. But this year, down the stretch, they stunk up the joint. They started off being the Super Bowl favorites, and around halfway through the season, Josh Allen gets hurt, and it's wraps from there. They did not stand a chance. I know that I had Buffalo going to the AFC Championship. I regret making that decision because, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Burrow has arrived. He has transformed the Cincinnati Bengals team. The entire organization. It's him, it's Jamar Chase, it's Tyler Boyd, it's Joe Mixon, it's T. Higgins, it's Hurst. They signed Lionel Collins. Everybody, they have transformed this team from the mediocrity that was the Cincinnati Bengals to a destination where players will want to go. Joe Burrow got it right now. Arguably the best quarterback in football. It's him, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Jalen Hurts. But those three guys are the undisputed, unmitigated future of the NFL. And Joe Burrow, you'll see this guy. He's got the moxie of somebody who can say. And honestly, not too many people can discredit him for saying, yeah, we're Super Bowl contenders for as long as I'm the quarterback of this team. Who can discredit him for saying that? They just went to the Super Bowl last year. You've beaten the guy, Patrick Mahomes, 3 times over the last 2 seasons, including the AFC Championship game last year to get to the Super Bowl, right? And you can make a legitimate argument that this Cincinnati Bengals team is much better than last year's team. Like I said earlier, the offensive line got better. This defense can make pushes at points, right? They're not average. They're well above average, but it just seems like they make those clutch plays. And it feels like Cincinnati, Kansas City this year. I feel like Kansas City will not be able to overcome that because of the injury to Patrick Mahomes. Because you lose Tyreek Hill and he's gone in Miami, and you don't have that reliable number 1 weapon or number 2 weapon, because you have Travis Kelce and nothing else. MVS, Valdez-Scantling, Juju Smith-Schuster, McCole Hardman, Kadarius Toney. Those guys are good wideouts. Don't get it twisted, right? But you don't have on that team a Jamar Chase who you could throw it down the field to and just say Jamar's got it. You don't have a Joe Mixon on that team who could either, like I said, catch the ball out of the backfield, or you could give it to him and he could get you a chunk play. So it's going to be really interesting. And then we get to the final game of the divisional round, where we saw the Jacksonville Jaguars lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. The game was tighter than it looked. It looked like Trevor Lawrence was a little bit in over his head. I say he's got about 2 years left before he joins that pantheon of elite quarterbacks. Him, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, I believe, has about another year or 2, and surrounding him with reliable weapons. I believe that those 3 guys have about another year or 2, like I said. But Trevor Lawrence looked a little bit in over his head. The defense really couldn't stop. I mean, Travis Kelce just carves you up no matter what. The guy just has an ability to look like he's not running at all and still be wide open in the middle of the field. Right? Now, is he going to be that guy that you're going to throw the ball 70 yards downfield to and say, go get it? Maybe not. That was Tyreek Hill. right? But you've got a guy, especially Patrick Mahomes, which that performance by Patrick Mahomes, you get tackled in the manner that you do, potentially sprained ankle, and you come back and you're still that guy. Now, he's clearly limping, he's clearly hurt, right? But you come back and to completely nullify the Jacksonville Jaguars defense in the manner that he did was spectacular to watch. It was Patrick Mahomes is just that guy where he's out of this world. There's no doubt about it, right? Now, there's guys with better resumes than Patrick Mahomes, like Tom Brady, like Joe Montana, if you want to go back that far, even as far as to say maybe a Drew Brees might have a little bit of a better resume than Patrick Mahomes. There's guys that have the longevity, like an Aaron Rodgers, again, like a Tom Brady. Phillip Rivers played forever, right? But you have this guy in Patrick Mahomes who has the best comparison that I can get for Patrick Mahomes right now is Steph Curry. He is changing the game from the quarterback position, just like Steph Curry has changed the game of basketball from the point guard position, right? You have a guy who can carve up your defense in Travis Kelce. That's Draymond Green. That's Draymond. A guy who carves up your defense in different ways, of course, but you still have that guy, right? Just completely mesmerized at the stuff that I saw Patrick Mahomes do, right? He's an alien. There's no doubt about it. And if he manages to beat Cincinnati this upcoming weekend, there's no argument to be made that Patrick Mahomes is not the best quarterback in football. No argument. None. But those are your AFC and NFC matchups. We have the AFC Championship game, Kansas City hosting the Cincinnati Bengals at Arrowhead. That game begins at 3 p.m. Eastern. That game is on Fox this upcoming Sunday, the 29th. And then we have the NFC Championship game, the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the San Francisco 49ers at Lincoln Financial. That game starts at 6:30 Eastern on CBS, and I cannot wait to get two more great weekends of football, ladies and gentlemen. I am excited. I am beyond excited for these next 2 weekends of football. But we got to transition into something. Let me fix up the hair a little bit. It looks out of whack. I got to get a haircut. I know. I'm aware. We got to transition to the NBA. I promise y'all a rant, and damn it, y'all going to get one. What the hell is going on in Miami? Miami! The team that has gone to 2 of the last 3 Eastern Conference championships. Miami, who 3 years ago was in the NBA Finals. That Miami Heat team. What the hell is going on? Pat Riley, where are you? The godfather of basketball, Pat Riley. Sir, where are you? Because right now, this Miami Heat team is soft. And I'm appalled at the fact that I have to say that about a Pat Riley team. Because if there's something about those teams, whether it was the Knicks, whether it was the Lakers, whether it's the Miami Heat, that you can't say that about a Miami Heat team. This team is soft. It is embarrassing. You have Gabe Vincent averaging 9 points on 41% shooting. We have Max Strus averaging 13 points on 40% shooting. You have Duncan Robinson, the $17 million sniper, averaging 7 points on 37% shooting. Are you freaking kidding me? You have a starting power forward in Caleb Martin, who on most teams would probably be a backup. And he's only averaging 10 points. What the hell is going on in Miami? I need answers. You have Adebayo averaging 21 and 10. It feels like he's taking a step back. Jimmy Butler is giving you 22, 6, and 5. Those are typical Jimmy Butler numbers because, as we all know, he doesn't go all out during the regular season unless it's a big game. He usually saves it for the playoffs. Jimmy Butler's a superstar. He's okay. And Tyler Hero being reinserted back into the starting shooting guard role, 21, 6, and 4. I have no questions about Tyler Hero. He's a solid number 3. But you have to put better people around these 3 dudes. You get Kyle Lowry. What the hell is he doing? What is Kyle Lowry averaging? 11 points? 12 points? Give me Kyle Lowry stats. Give me Kyle Lowry stats. I'm losing my mind here because I love the Miami Heat. He's averaging 13 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. Kyle freaking Lowry. What is going on in Miami? Dwayne Dedman should be gone. Over Yurtseven? What is a Yurtseven? I have no clue. I understand the fact that the market is pretty tight right now as it pertains to players and sign the big deals and all that kind of stuff. But damn it, you need another star or at least complementary pieces around Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, and Bam Adebayo if those are the 3 guys that you have signed long term. Jimmy Butler just signed a 4-year extension. You just signed Tyler Hero to 135 over 5, and you have Bam Adebayo for another 4 years. You need complementary pieces because this team is not going to get it done. And let me ask y'all a question. When, if ever, even during Dwayne Wade's last run with the Miami Heat, when did we ever say that this Heat team is soft? What the hell is going on? I'm going to keep saying it because I don't have an answer. It is completely ridiculous that fact that Pat Riley has been so silent. We hear Kyle Lowry rumors. We don't see any traction with him. And who are we going to bring back? D'Angelo Russell? Really? D'Angelo Russell's what we're hearing for Kyle Lowry? Get Kyle Lowry the hell out of the team, period. I'm flabbergasted at how terrible this Heat team is, even if they're 4 games above 500. Everyone and their mama knows they're going home in the first round. Where are the Heat right now? Where are they as it pertains to standings? Hold on. They're 6 right now. If the playoffs were to begin today, they would go up against the Bucks. Who's telling me that the Miami Heat have a snowball has a better chance of staying cold in hell than the Miami Heat do of beating the Milwaukee Bucks? They're going home in 5, maybe. What's up, Miami? What's up, Yeekman? They'd be going home in 5 with how soft as putty this team is. Damn it, Jay Crowder's not getting any minutes over in Phoenix. You got a guy like Kyle Kuzma who's clearly going to be available, even if on a 1-year rental. He could grab rebounds. He could shoot. He's not a defensive liability like he was a few years ago in Los Angeles. There's guys all over the NBA that you can bring in to play better. I'm ashamed to call myself a Miami Heat fan right now with how embarrassing this team has been. Players that the Miami Heat can get right now, Kyle Kuzma, you can go get Jared Vanderbilt, who's a defense, who can play some defense. Get Jordan Clarkson, who can give you production off the bench. Jordan Clarkson's clearly on the market. Bogdanovich is on the market. Kuzma, Crowder, hell. See if you can get Klay Thompson. That's right, I said it. Klay Thompson is the player that if I'm Pat Riley, I'm trying to see if Joe Lacob and Bob Myers and those guys will get me for 2 first-round picks and maybe Duncan Robinson, and a few other pieces. Klay Thompson out of the Golden State Warriors is the first player that if I'm Miami, I'm going to target. I'm giving myself a headache over these Miami Heat. Jesus. As we look at the NBA landscape right now, the Nets have completely nosedived since the KD injury. They went from second place in the East down to fourth. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers. That would, if the playoffs were to begin today, this would be some of the most interesting playoffs because of how evenly split these teams are, right? So in the East, 7, 8, 9, and 10, you have the Knicks, the Hawks, the Pacers, and the Bulls. The Knicks and the Hawks, they're just meant to fight forever, aren't they? They're just completely meant to fight forever. You know what? I feel like Atlanta has just completely sunned the Knicks over and over again. Give me the Knicks to win that and push them into the 7th seed. That's if the playoffs were to begin today, right? And then you have Pacers and Bulls. I'll take the Pacers personally. Bounce the Bulls the hell up out of there. Then you have Atlanta and Indy. Give me Atlanta. So 1 through 8 would be Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Cleveland, Miami, New York, and Atlanta. The Celtics sweep the Hawks. The Sixers and the Knicks, that would be an interesting matchup. Especially if Mitchell Robinson comes back into that New York lineup, that would be a very interesting matchup to see. Still, give me Philly in 6. Milwaukee and Miami, I don't even want to talk about it. Give me Milwaukee in 5. And then you have Brooklyn and Cleveland at 4 and 5. Damn. That kind of puts a damper on my prediction. Give me Cleveland in 7. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Cleveland would beat Brooklyn in 7 games. Get off me. Now we go to the West. 1 through 6, we have Denver, Memphis. Sacramento is still 7 games above 500? What? Oh! Sacramento at 3, Pelicans 4, Mavericks 5, Clippers 6. That's 1 through 6. Then 7 through 10, you have the Phoenix Suns, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Utah Jazz, and the Golden State Warriors. With the following 3 teams: OKC, Los Angeles, and Portland on the outside looking right in. You know what? I'm going to say right now that the Jazz continue to nosedive, right? And I would personally push the Blazers in there. So no Jazz, no Thunder, and for the second straight year, no Lakers. Right? So then that means we have Warriors, Portland at 9 and 10. Although I don't think that the Warriors say that. You know what? As presently constructed, give me the Warriors to beat the Portland Trailblazers, right? And then at 7 and 8, give me the Timberwolves to shock the Suns. The Wolves shock the Suns, so they move into the 7th seed, and then the Suns get bounced out by the Warriors. So 1 through 8 would be Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, New Orleans, Dallas, Clippers, what did I say? Timberwolves and Warriors. That's your 8, right? Now, 1 and 8, Warriors and Denver, that would be interesting to see, right? I would pick Golden State in 7 because I think that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are just going to be too much to overcome. 2 and 7, Memphis and Timberwolves rematch of last year. Give me Memphis to bounce them up out of there again. Kings and Clippers at 3 and 6. Ooh, I'm going to take the Clippers on that in 5, actually. I think that Sacramento might be a year or two away from getting to maybe even the second round if they get there because the Western Conference is still so loaded. And then at 4 and 5, Pelicans and Mavs. I'm going to take the Pelicans to move on there in 7 because I think that Luka still needs some help. Yeah, give me the Pelicans in 7. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's edition of the Savvy Sports Podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I truly do appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button, share the video, subscribe, follow if you're on Twitch, all that good stuff. And don't forget, keep your sports savvy. I'll